you don't realize how incomplete you are until you find that person that you really love and care about, that they make you whole. And you never realize this whole time you were never complete. And when they come into your life, it feels so good. It feels great, you know? The thought of them leaving or the thought of that love no longer being existent is a scary thought. It brings anxiety into a lot of people. It's part of the reason a lot of people stay in abusive relationships. It's part of the reason people never get out when they should have got out. They see those red flags, but because they just want to be loved, you know? And again, this is advice. Why is this in tying into reverts and all that? It's all going to make sense, inshallah. You just gotta keep, just pay attention, all right? Just stay with us, inshallah. It'll all come together. What brought me back to Islam was a breakup. It was a breakup. It was me getting my heart broken, bro. It was. I feel like I've always been a hopeless romantic. I don't know if anyone could like vibe with that. Being a hopeless romantic.
Explain.
I just feel like I would do anything for love. If that.
You're one of those. It's better to love and lose than to never love at all.
Yeah, I would just. I would like. I would be that person who would write you a letter and just do something different. You know, like maybe get you a rose. And just, like, oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I would. I would just write you a letter and just do something completely different. Maybe get you a flower. And you know what? You might not even reciprocate it to me back. You know, that might not lead me to get a date. That might not lead me to have anything happen with you. But at least I did it. You know, I don't have to live with that regret of, you know, what if I would have like tried to ask him out or whatever the case might be. And I've had this, bro, where there was this really, you know, cute girl at the time. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. There was this cute at the uni at the time.
I expose you.
Yeah. There was this girl in my math class. So I studied mathematics in university for my undergrad, right? Believe it or not. She was just like, you know, I liked her. I thought, you know, she was in all my classes and I liked her, whatever the case might be. Then one day I was just like, you know what? Just do it. You know, get a little rose and doing all that sort of stuff. I gave the rose. Oh, thank you so much. And I just felt like a lame. Nothing happened, but at least I did it. You know, at least I could say that, hey, I did do it. I didn't, you know, go about it. And I just feel like maybe because I didn't get the love at home I needed, I thought that I needed to get love from other people. And that, for me, that was a big point, bro, because and we spoke a little bit off camera about abusive households and growing up in an abusive household. And, you know, our structure of love and our definition of love comes from what we see, you know? And me seeing how my father showed his love towards my mom, towards my sister, towards myself, that's the definition of what I know love is. So I never received it. I craved it. I thought that that I would be complete when I get it from someone, when, you know, the love is within you. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-wadud, you know. He is the all-loving. He's the loving. If we want love, we need to go to the source of love, not the creation. That's a big mistake that a lot of us make, right? We think that we're going to be complete when we get in that relationship. So halal or haram, we don't care because we want the love. So anyone out there really struggling, my immediate goal would be like, hey, like, why are you chasing love so much, right? What's not right in your life right now that's causing you to want love from other people? Because people would even get married, even in a halal way, but they put all their eggs in that basket for that person, relying fully on that person, thinking that by marrying them, they will complete them. But deen is, you know, you're when you get married, half of your deen is completed. But notice that you have to come with your own completed deen to receive the other half of your deen. That means the 5 pillars and the basics of your deen. That has to be on point by you. And when you have that, you will still find out that you're incomplete until you have your spouse, right? Look at Adam alayhi salam. Bro, he was in Jannah. Think about it, bro. Jannah. Like, Jannah has everything. It's Jannah. We all want Jannah. But he was incomplete still. And Allah knew what he needed. He didn't know what he needed. Allah knew what he needed. He needed a companion. And he gave him a companion from him, right? From him. So we know that a lot of us feel incomplete. We want love. We want a companion. We like it, you know? But you got to also remember that there's people out there who are slimy, bro. Slimy. And they will take advantage of the fact that you're pure. You're pure-hearted. You know, that you mean good. You're a genuine person. And they will have hidden agendas and take advantage of you, right? Now, does that mean that you don't trust in, you know, love and you give up on love? No, it means you put your trust in Allah. You do istikhara. You make a lot of dua. You tie your camel, like we said in the last podcast that we did months ago. And we put our full trust in Allah. You know, we put our full trust in Allah. We know that Allah, you're going to handle this for me. So I think that for me, bro, being a hopeless romantic definitely came from not getting that love at home, for for sure, bro.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy that you say that because, and this is, I don't know how this.
I don't know how we got into
I
this.
feel like I'm
For
like,
advice
I'm like
for
trying to think
reverse.
back. I'm like, yo, am I dreaming right now? You know when you're dreaming, you're like, yo, how did I end up here?
Yeah.
Nah, but before I was a Muslim, I definitely did that. I looked for that love externally because I didn't really receive it in the household. And damn, like it wasn't until recently that I feel like I started to just kind of give myself that love, you know, because I knew like Allah provides everything. So I knew like, look, like Allah's gonna give me this external love, but first I need to have internal love for my own self.
Yes, sir.
You know, and like I'm not gonna say everything, but I can see that. Wallah, I can see that.
We want to know from y'all if y'all have similar stories or want to share about, you know, because we all have different childhoods, you know, how that shaped you as an adult, how that shaped your entire life, you know, if that did affect you and how you express love, how you like to receive love, your definition of love, or even if you're just not a hopeless romantic, you're the opposite of that. If you don't love, it's tough, bro, for a lot of people. But I do want to tie it back into the trajectory we're going to.
That's what I was about to say. I just remember.
Yeah.
I just
Go
remember
for it,
what you
bro.
were saying. Nah, so okay, so you said this is what brought you back to Islam.
Yeah.
In what way?
Yeah, because a breakup, bro, doesn't that like usually turn people the other way?
Yeah. So for me personally, and I think for anyone who's been in love or what they thought love was, you know, Rami's a lover boy, mashallah, I could tell.
Damn, boy.
Okay. You know, you don't realize how incomplete you are until you find that person that you really love and care about, that they make you whole. And you never realize this whole time you were never complete. And when they come into your life, it feels so good. It feels great, you know? The thought of them leaving or the thought of that love no longer being existent is a scary thought. It brings anxiety into a lot of people. It's part of the reason a lot of people stay in abusive relationships. It's part of the reason people never get out when they should have got out. They see those red flags, but because they just want to be loved, you know? And again, this is advice. Why is this in tying into reverts and all that? It's all going to make sense, inshallah. You just gotta just pay attention, all right? Just stay with us, inshallah. It'll all come together, inshallah. So like, you know, like when me and this person broke up, right? I felt that knife, that emptiness, that hollowness that before always was there, but I never knew its existence because I never knew what it felt like to feel quote unquote whole.
You were trying to cover it up.
Yeah, I felt like what they did by that breakup is it exposed how broken I've always been. I've always been a broken man, you know, and and you know, people think that's a bad thing. You know, you're a broken person. I love it. I'm a broken person because Allah has allowed my pieces to fall down, and now He's allowing me to put myself back together how I want to. You know, not by how society wants to, not by how, you know, having trauma is not a bad thing. You know, it sounds like a scary thing, but it's not, because it allows you to see things for what they are. You go through what you have to go through, and then you grow through it, and you're able to now piece yourself back together. That's just a new perspective. Look, I'm not saying like, you know, trauma is not a bad thing. Someone's just like, yeah, you got molested as a child. That's not a bad thing. How dare you? Like, I'm not saying that, right? But even if that did happen to you, you know, subhanAllah, that was your test. That happened by Allah's permission as well too. Now, what are you going to do with that, right? Are you going to harbor that in, or are you now going to be an advocate for all children? And are you going to be an advocate for all people who've been through that and use that motion and now do something about it to fight for justice for everyone? Those are the same people. Right? A person who wants to harbor that feeling and internalize it and just like live with that every day versus a person who uses that as fuel to propel them. And they realize that this is my underdog story. I'm going to help the whole ummah now because that's why Allah allowed it to happen to me. I was abused at home, went through abusive relationships because Allah wanted me to go through that so I could be more relatable to the people, so that when the ummah feels that pain, I know what that feels like. The average person might not. You know, last episode we spoke about like drugs and these sort of things, you know, a shiu, which is totally fine, obviously, might tell you that something's haram, right? but they never had that experience. And alhamdulillah, like Allah saved them from that. May Allah protect us all from that. But a person who's been through it, they have a little bit more like hands-on experience with that, right? Not saying one's better, but you understand what I'm saying. A person who's been through abuse, trauma, some type of childhood trauma, sexual trauma, something like that, they have a perspective that no other person can have. You understand? So when a person speaks to you about it, you're not just going to be like, oh, just have sabr. That's not just a cliche answer you're going to be give, right? You're able to elaborate a little bit more. So Allah allowed you to go through that. So tying it back in, you know, I've realized how empty I was. And they just exposed how broken I've always been. I've been a broken man my whole life, starting from my childhood, starting from how I love and everything like that. And when Allah put me back into the dunya, I went back to what was making me whole before. Allah gave it to me even more, bro. Like the parties got even louder, bigger. I became even better. I got even crazier situations. I got even in cooler hijinks, everything. But I'm that same person who's the life of the party. Yo, SQ's here. You know what I mean? They didn't call me SQ, they called me something else, you know? But, you know, I'm here, you know, popping bottles, doing all that sort of stuff. But that same person is at, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning driving home crying on the highway because I feel so empty and alone. I just wanted love. And I wasn't getting that. And I was chasing love. I was trying to find love in all the wrong ways because I was hurt. I was so hurt, you know? And I admire reverts, bro, because they, you know, like they have so many unique stories and, you know, they take that hurt, that whether that be spiritual hurt from previous religions that they might have been grown up on or whatever led them to Islam, and they allowed them to seek the truth, and they realized that it's not a person that they were missing. They weren't broken because of that trauma childhood. It was that connection with Allah. And that revert is searching for that. That person who came back to Islam realizes that what they're truly missing is the connection with Allah. And obviously that's what happened with me as well. Alhamdulillah.
You do have a lot of born Muslims, like you have Rami, you have Fayyad, and they had their own awakening. They had their own part where it's like they realized like, damn, like something is missing. Like it could have been as simple as Rami, like your experience. You said that you were watching this video on, it was Shaitan, right?
Yeah, Iblis and how he became Shaitan.
And then this just made you see what?
Just, I just listened to it. I'm like, you know, subhanAllah. Like, I didn't say that at the time, but I was like, wow, you know, this is interesting. This is cool. I'm like, let me look into this. And I just started watching more and more. And I'm like, this religion I was born on that I never practiced, you know, this has something here.
Muslims in Norway are now establishing a masjid and Dawah center to enhance the Norwegian Dawah. If you donate to this cause, you will inshallah reap the rewards of thousands of Muslims coming back to Islam, and many of those will become du'at and invite to Islam. So click the link and donate now and share the video for extra reward.